It's Mike, and I have an update for you regarding WebDriver that is pertinent whether you bought my book or not. The book has been out now for almost 2 years, and it's really held up pretty well, but there's one significant change that we need to talk about, and that involves WebDriver. As you know, WebDriver is what Selenium uses to interface with the browser. It works kind of like this. Python interfaces with Selenium, which in turn interfaces with WebDriver, which interfaces with the browser. The important thing to remember here is that the version of WebDriver must match the version for browser. Now, while this book references other supported browsers, the book's real working driver is Chromedriver. Well, a while back, Chrome changed the way Chromedriver is distributed, and they did this in an effort to better synchronize releases of Chrome and Chromedriver, but in the process, they also made it a little bit harder to obtain copies of Chromedriver. I wanted a process of using WebDriver that more closely matched the process defined in the book. If for no other reason, it makes it easier for me to describe people how to get this stuff up and running. And this change happened at, I believe, version 113 of Chrome. So everything after that uses a different system for distributing Chromedriver. So I basically had 4 options. Could either continue using Chromedriver, but use an older version, and the disadvantages of doing that are pretty obvious. I could use Firefox. The problem there is that I have an established code base that's expecting Chromedriver, and Chrome uses the Blink rendering engine, whereas Firefox uses Gecko, and I wanted to ensure complete compatibility. So the 4th option was to use Microsoft Edge, and that's what I decided to do. Before you question my judgment, please consider my rationale. I did this primarily because Microsoft Edge is based on the same code base as Chrome. I have an established code base that uses Chromedriver, plus a book that uses it. So I wanted to keep that as compatible as possible. All of the Chrome features, like Inspect, are still maintained in Microsoft Edge, and I haven't found really any differences between the two. I have found Microsoft Edge and EdgeDriver to be 100% compatible with my legacy code written for Chromedriver. If that hasn't been the case for you, please comment below. Or if you decided to go ahead and continue to use Chromedriver, I would also love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. So let me show you the code required to run EdgeDriver. And this really isn't my code. I got this online from the same place as you would, but I'll walk through it with you. I want to point out that this is functional code. I just ran this, so I know it works. First thing you do is you load your Python libraries that you're going to be using. Here I'm importing Selenium, although I've been told that if you do this, importing Selenium is implied, and this is redundant, but I still do it anyway. Here I'm importing the hooks into WebDriver. Here's the code to create the WebDriver service, and here's the code to create the options that you're going to want for WebDriver. The next thing you need to do is define where your copy of msedgedriver exists. Here I'm just putting it into the working directory. I should point out that this all needs to be executable, so check your permissions. Here I do a little check to make sure WebDriver exists. Here we're getting ready to run the service, and this is very similar to the way Chromedriver works, by the way. Here we're doing some options. The only option we have selected is to rename our user agent. Please don't use this name. If you want to know all of the options, I would suggest checking ChatGPT. It'll have a whole list for you. In addition to these options, by the way, there's also a bunch of things called preferences, which are like EdgeDriver experimental options. I would suggest, again, referencing ChatGPT to discover what those preferences are and how to load them. Here, again, just like using Chromedriver, you actually create the driver. And if you can't, you let people know and bomb out. Here's an example. We're actually going to be using driver here to get the Mepso Media homepage and print out the title. And again, this all works. I tested that code probably 10 minutes before doing this video, so trust me in that this does work. So I would love to hear what your experiences are. I'm going to try to get this news out to as many people as I can who have part of the community and have bought the book. Anybody else, please feel free to use this. I would love to hear your experiences using EdgeDriver, using versions of Chromedriver past version 1.13, or if you decided to use Firefox or Opera or any of the other web drivers, I would love to hear about your experiences. Thanks for staying with me, and we'll talk later. Thanks.